Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching the F&O Show on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agam Vakil. Well, for now, the markets are very, very quiet. Anything that stands out, Navneet?
Well, Agam, 11,800 will be a key level to monitor today. We did approach those levels, but there is some bit of recovery which is coming from the lower levels. But still, we're down about 13 points in Nifty, Sensex down about 5 points. Nifty Bank also seeing cuts of about 80 points. Remember, Bank Nifty has given up its gains that we had seen in the last two sessions. Yesterday, of course, there was a huge sell-off which came in the last 1 hour. And on the future side, there was some long unwinding seen for that one. Of course, it's now the macros which are weighing on our market, be it the weak IIP number, hardening of inflation data, and of course rupee for the second straight day trading above the mark of 72 to the dollar. And that's the broader markets mixed session seen, but I guess the market breadth continues to be weak. It is in favor of the decline so far that I last checked. Yep, it's almost 1:2. On the downside today, watch out for 20 DMA if the markets were to weaken further. If we breach the 11,800 mark, 20 DMA is currently at about 11,750. So I think that will be a crucial level to watch out for today when it comes to Nifty. But overall, looking at the options data, today is Thursday. It's also the weekly options expiry day. Maximum open interest on the call side, of course, so far we've been mentioning it is 12,000 level. On the put side, with yesterday's correction, the base moved lower, so 11,800 put as the strike where maximum open interest is. And as I can see on the screen, just in the first hour of trading, 11,800 call is added about 14 lakh shares. The current premium is somewhere about 41. So if somebody is writing this call today, of course, they are safe till the time index is trading around the mark of 11,840. So that should be your level to watch out. And 11,800 put is also seeing some bit of addition. That's added about 10 to 11 lakh shares. The premium there is about 16 points. So combine the premium, I guess almost 60 points is the movement either on the upside or downside from the lower levels is something you can watch out for Nifty. But I just want to pull up Bank Nifty futures. There was some unwinding seen yesterday. Remember, Bank Nifty futures have been adding open interest since the start of the series. And as we can see, there is some fresh build-up which has come in there. Open interest is up about 10% and the futures are trading with a premium of nearly 25 points a gum.
Okay, there you have it. That's how, well, benchmarks are moving. But let's also take a look at all the stocks which are buzzing in today's day of trade. And I'm sure there are plenty out there which will be in focus on the back of an increase or a decrease in open interest. Muthoot Finance right at the top, advancing by around 8.5%. There's a lot of long build-up coming through there. We also have Voltas along with Jubilant Foodworks. Both of these stocks are, well, looking at good gains in open interest and towards fresh longs. Aurobindo Pharma, on the other hand, on account of, that form 483 with 14 observations, looking at a sharp cut. And Bharti Infratel also under quite a bit of pressure, of course, along with Bharti Airtel too. What about stocks which are seeing unwinding? What stands out there? Not too much, in fact. Just Dial is looking at, well, about a short covering. This is after seeing a lot of weakness. And besides that, we don't have too much to speak for. But once again, continue to keep an eye on earnings going into today's day of trade, Navneet.
Yeah. Fag end of the earnings season and a lot of stocks which are in focus. So on the show today as well, we will be discussing such stocks which are reacting to their numbers. On top of the list, we've got Muthoot Finance, where the gold loan AUM for the quarter gone by was up 9% on year-on-year basis, and it's one of the top F&O gainers. Bata is the other one. Operational performance was good this time around. The gross margins also went up, and the stock has been witnessing some buying interest post its numbers. Aurobindo, as Agam highlighted, received 14 observations from US FDA for its plant 4, on back of which there is immense selling pressure which is coming. Remember, this has been an underperformer, laggard so far in this calendar year. The stock's corrected about 45%.
Okay, well, it's time to get in our experts for today, but before that, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022454044141. Of course, write to us on our social media pages. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with the AskPQ hashtag. Today we have with us Brijesh Singh of StockAxis and Ashish Chaturmohta of Sanctum Wealth joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you, and thanks for taking the time out. Ashish, I'll start with you. The indices have come off just a tad bit over the past 2-3 days, Ashish, specifically the Nifty, which closed about 12,000 a couple of days ago. And since it has come off, where do we go from here?
Good morning, Agam. So I think 11,850 was an important support area for the market, and since we are trading below that level. I think there can be some nervousness, although the broader trend looks promising. But I think since we have seen some profit booking and have broken an important support below 11,850, maybe some more dip towards 11,700, 750 could not be ruled out. I think as far as buy momentum is concerned, that will start emerging only once we see a clear decisive move beyond 11,900. So broadly, I think it's in a range. Maybe some more downside of 70 to 80 points could not be ruled out. As a momentum, either I'll buy on a dip around 11,750 or on a clear breakout above 11,900 area. So I think that's a two areas where I would like to initiate any long positions at an index.
Okay, so Ashish suggesting that he would look to take long positions only after index crosses 11,900 and trades above that. Hi Brijesh, good morning. Would you use these correction as an opportunity to enter on the long side, or you would wait by?
Good morning, Navneet. See, if we look out for the overall trend for a longer term picture has been concerned, still it would be on a long side. But purely for a swing-based trading has been concerned, definitely some important level has been broken. Nifty has moved below that important levels. On the higher side, I would be watching 11,940 as a crucial resistance, and immediate basis resistance has been concerned, and 11,850 to 11,870 has been concerned. So that should not be get broken when the Nifty went into the profit booking, excuse me, into the profit booking mode. So right now, what I've been feeling with the shorter term time frame of the chart for Nifty as well as for the Bank Nifty has been concerned, overall trend look little bit on the bearish side rather than on the bull side. So I would be going short presently somewhere around 11,835 or 11,850. The future has been trading, so one can go short with the stop loss of 11,910 and play for the target of 11,700. This 11,700 is a crucial level to watch for the momentum. On the higher side has been concerned. If anyhow we break and trade below this level of 11,700, then the party for the bull would be getting over and Nifty would be heading towards the level of 11,550.
Okay, so interesting observations there made by Brijesh, and he's of course looking to sell futures. But that said, Brijesh, coming back to you, what are the stocks that you are betting on today's day of trade?
See, Agam, I have a two sell call. My first sell call is on Marico future. The stock on a daily chart has been trading below the 200 simple moving average, and whenever I have observed that stock trade below this 200 simple moving average, there are a probability of stock getting corrected to 3% to a 5% or even 7 to 8%. Now stock today right now has been quoting somewhere around 355 or 357 zone, so I would be going short at the present rate with the strict stop loss of 370, play for the target of 342. The increase in volume followed by the oscillators are indicating more downside. The second sell call which I would be looking would be on Tata Motors. No doubt the stock had bounced from a level of 105 or 110 odd level, and after making a high of somewhere around 180 zone, and now the stock is little bit feeling tiredness. On an immediate basis, stock has a 200 simple moving trading somewhere around 162, but the oscillators as well as the price charts indicate that in coming session we might break that level of 162, the 200 simple moving average. So somewhere around 167, 168, the stock has been quoting. Present rate, one can go short on it with a strict stop loss of 176, play for the target of 156. Any closing below 162 minded would be giving an invitation for a next downward rally towards the level of 140 also.
Okay, so two short calls coming in from Brijesh, Tata Motors futures as well as Marico. Ashish, what about you? You've got long bets for today?
Yeah, so I think it's individual stocks market, and I think stocks where clear trend is being visible. First one is Voltas, where I think there is a clear decisive breakout which is taking place, aggressive long build up happening in last 2 weeks time frame. So clearly I think one can initiate a long. 695 would be my trading stop loss. 722 is a short term target one can expect, but positionally I believe 740 is what one can expect in Voltas in next 2-3 weeks time frame. Second would be MGL Mahanagar Gas Limited. Here we are seeing a very consistent build-up of long positions in last 3 weeks. The stock is poised for a strong breakout. 1010 would be my trading stop loss. 1,080 is a short-term target one can expect in MGL, and third would be SRF, where I think a very strong consolidation near all-time highs taking place, consistent build-up of a long position since the stock has hit a low of 2650, 2700 zone. So I think here one can expect a decent rally. 3130 would be my trading stop loss. 3250 is a short-term target one can expect in SRF.
Okay, that's your view on SRF and the handful of stocks which are being recommended by our experts. But from there on, let's talk about a handful of stocks that we want to talk about, and that is Muthoot Finance right at the top. It's been a very interesting move for Muthoot Finance because it's actually snapped a 7-day losing streak. And after that, we've seen Muthoot Finance gain as much as, well, 10%, at least at one point in time. It's had a very strong quarter coming through. It's up 8.5% today, trending back above the mark of 700 rupees per share in the cash market. And as you can see, from perhaps the first week in November, it fell from 700 to the levels of as much as 640 odd, and from there on it's once again recovered to move back above the mark of 700 rupees per share. Of course, its gold AUM, gold loan AUM has risen 9% year on year. Its net interest income has risen as much as 35%, and that of course stands out. And fundamentally, what about the technicals? What about futures and options, the kind of cues that this company or the stock is giving us? Ashish, how are you rating this one? What's the view here?
So we are quite positive, and we have been maintaining this positive bias in Muthoot for a very long time, and I think this is a very structural trend and consistent build of a long position even in today's trading session. Post results is clearly indicating stock is poised for at least 5 to 7% kind of upside from current levels. 740 is what one can expect in this up move in Muthoot Finance. Going forward, I think 675 is going to be an extremely important support. So definitely, I think traders have to bet on the long side of the trade. Use any dip towards 690, 685 to average or create fresh longs. 670, 675 should be ideally the stop loss for going long into Muthoot Finance.
Okay, so Muthoot Finance looking good. Management guiding for 15% AUM growth for the financial year. Remember, both the gold financing companies, be it Manappuram and Muthoot, have been outperforming the other NBFCs. All right, the other one which is reacting to numbers is Bata. Operationally, this time around, the numbers looked good. Of course, we've seen huge margin expansion also coming by. When we started the day, the stock was up about 4 to 4.5%. I think it's cooled off from the higher levels. But remember, this has been an outperformer. It's given you returns of over 50% so far in this calendar year. Brijesh, it's also trading just 100 rupees away from its all-time high levels that we had seen end of October. With today's move, would you suggest taking any bet, considering the stock's also off the high levels?
See, Namrita, I have been recommending this stock from a level of 700, and we have been re-rating these stocks, the target from 1200 to 1500 to 17 or 17 and a half. As the investment is been concerned, overall trend is still looking positive. Stock is still trading with the higher adoption, higher bottom formation, and chances are that in 6-month time frame, stock might trade above 2000 or even 2100, can't be ruled out. Now, purely for the swing-based trading is been concerned, right now on the daily chart, the stock is in the formation of a inward hammer. Generally, when the inward hammer candlesticks is being formed, that indicates the reversal signs. So I would not be going long right now at this juncture of say 17-14 around. But anyhow, if stock get corrected to the level of say 1620 to 1640 zone, definitely one can go long at that juncture with the stop loss of 1585 and play for the target of 1750 to 1770 zone. But right now I would be avoiding it's a no bet zone right now.
Okay, so avoid Bata for now. And of course, Brijesh has mentioned the levels that he would consider before he would initiate, a call on that one. And let's talk about Aurobindo Pharma now. A beleaguered stock in this case is under tremendous pressure after we understand that the US FDA has issued a Form 483 citing 14 observations in its Hyderabad facility, and it's dropped to a fresh 52-week low. It's had a tough couple of months, Aurobindo Pharma. It's hit, in fact, a multi-year low, if I'm not mistaken. It's currently below like 400 rupees per share. It's down 8% today and 49% in the last 12 months. So, well, it just keeps getting worse. And every time we see that there's a chance for Aurobindo Pharma to prop its head back up, it comes under further pressure and it moves down even further. Currently at a 52-week low, as I was suggesting. And well, we continue to track on this one. But Ashish, the real question is, would you go short at these levels?
The stock has really disappointed a lot, and in fact, on any kind of a pullback or strength which we have seen in last couple of few months, I think it's a weak structure. And going forward, I'll not be surprised if the stock hits 360 area. Now the question is of the risk reward. After seeing 8% correction on an intraday basis and almost in last 1 month down 15-16%, I think I'll wait for some recovery to create some short positions. Maybe in that process I might miss this opportunity of shorting this stock, but then trading is all about risk reward, and I don't think the risk reward is extremely favorable at this juncture.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's Aurobindo Pharma, your top F&O loser. Let me quickly start addressing our viewer queries, and I'm going to club two queries because they are on call option of Nifty. One is from Vinay, who's holding 12,200 call strike at 50, and he's asking what to do. I think this is the monthly expiry that he's holding. The current premium on that one from 40, I think it's fallen to 16 or 18. And Venkat is holding today's 11,850 call at 25, and of course there also the premium has come off considering the time decay, and that particular strike is at 13 or 14 points. Ashish, very quickly, 12,200 call of monthly expiry at 40. Of course, the premium has come down. And also for today's 11,850 at 25, where the premium is now 13 to 14. What would you advise to do?
So, see, as I mentioned, till it doesn't cross this 11,900, I don't have comfort of creating aggressive longs in the market. And the point is, even if index doesn't correct and consolidate here, there can be a loss of, the time value in the options. So I think because of the time decay, despite market not correcting, he might lose into these options. So ideally, I think it's better to exit it, or I would recommend one stop loss. If it breaks those levels, then he need to exit, and that stop loss is 11,820 in futures, so which is currently trading at 11,845, 846. So if it breaks 11,820 in futures, that's the time you need to take an exit into these options.
Okay, and time to take just one more query. It's from Anand. His question is on Axis Bank, the November expiry. He says he wants to buy the futures at around 700, 710 levels. What would you suggest? Brijesh, this question is for you. Would you recommend buying Axis Bank around these levels?
700, 710, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, that's correct, Brijesh.
Okay. See, definitely one can go long at the juncture of 710 or say even 705, but keep a strict stop loss of 693. That should not be get broken. That is a recent swing low. If that thing broken, then the chances are that stock might even touch a level of 685. But keeping a stop loss of 693, one can go long. On the higher side, stock has a resistance as 728 band. If anything above 728, stock can jump to the level of 735 also.
Okay, that's Axis Bank for you. Remember, the volatility today has cooled off, so India VIX is down about 5%. And just want to revisit the markets. Nifty is holding on to that level of 11,800, but there are a couple of stocks which are moving around. Sun TV, which was down 10 to 11% yesterday, has seen a bit of rebound. That's up about 4%. Your heavyweight Infosys, which was down yesterday, while TCS saw gains of 3 to 3.5%. So top gainer on Nifty right now is Infosys with gains of over 2%. Jubilant FoodWorks, I think since the time market opened today, this one's seeing some traction, so that's also seen gains of 3%. And something like Titan, which fell last week owing to the cut in guidance for second half, that too has seen some renewed buying interest, at least though marginal. It's up about 1%. While on the losing side, Bharti Infratel has seen cuts of 6%. Nalco, which came out with its numbers, they posted a loss of about 28 crore. That's seen correction of about 4%. And from the private banking space, IndusInd Bank too has seen correction of about 3%, while RBL Bank is also down nearly 2% in trade.
Okay, there you have it. And on that note, it's time to call in and conclude the show. But I am going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Ashish and Brijesh, for joining us and taking us through their views on the markets and solving some of our viewer queries. For more updates on the F&O space, you can also check our website, BloombergQuint.com, specifically the futures and options pages.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. Thanks a lot for watching. You can stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint for more news and updates.